Hi, everybody. I'm Jack Canfield, co-author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series and also the author of the Success Principles, How to Get From Where You Are to Where You Want to Be. And today I have a guest that is going to help you more quickly, more efficiently get from where you are to where you want to be. And my guest is Jen Groover. And normally I don't give such a long introduction, but this woman has accomplished so much. I really want you to know what she's done. So you'll be so inspired by that. You'll say, I want to have that kind of success. And her new book's going to help you do that. So I'm going to read this. It says, Jen Groover has been tagged by Success Magazine as a one-woman brand, a creativity and innovation guru, and a leading serial entrepreneur by Entrepreneur Magazine, and ranked number 8 by SAP in the top 51 influencers of human potential. And she was recently nominated for Motivational Speaker of the Year 2019 from Speaker.com. And also, she's made history at the New York Stock Exchange. I've always wanted to do that. Be one of the first female groups to ring the opening bell. She made the Forbes list of 50 founders to follow and was nominated TV Personality of the Year for the Year Award in 2015. She's been a top business and lifestyle contributor and content creator for every major television network you've ever heard of: ABC, CBS, CNBC, NBC, MSNBC, CNBC, Fox News, Fox Business News, and the CW. And her products have been featured in QVC, on television, which is fun to do. I've been to QVC once. I really enjoyed it. It's amazing what an operation that is and how much product they can move. She's also regularly contributed to the Huffington Post, Entrepreneur Magazine, the Wall Street Journal, Positively Positive, and the Story Exchange. And her products and her brand has been seen on Oprah Magazine, O Magazine, Red Book, People, US Weekly, Success, and Entrepreneur. And that's only about 3 paragraphs of about 20 that I could read you. Thank you, Jen Groover, for joining us today. You have written a new book called The More Method. It's all about how to get more of what you want and everything you desire in life. So hold up your book because you have a cover of it there. There you go. I love the cover. Very clever with the art, being a puzzle piece there.
Thank you.
To be successful. So you've been teaching people how to develop their life, how to live a more effective life in many areas of their life: health and nutrition and fitness and personal development, business, etc. What put you on the path to be so passionate about helping others, developing them into being more of the people they want to be?
Thank you for that kind introduction, by the way. And I'm really excited about this book because it's really bringing to light my childhood, which brought me on this path, and why I'm so passionate about what I do and empowering other people. I came from a dysfunctional childhood, and my parents were just projecting the cycles of their childhood and so forth. And when I went to college, I studied psychology, and I started to realize what had happened and why it had happened. And I became really excited and passionate because I found that piece of the puzzle to understand my life and my past and how to change my future. And so from that moment on, I became a sponge of learning and understanding everything human potential and how to improve physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. And my natural instinct has always been to teach everybody, to share what I've learned. And so I felt it was more purposeful, not just for me, but really exciting that every time I learn something new, I can turn around and give a new tool to someone else's toolbox. And that's really what it comes down to. Is a lot of people want to be more successful. They want to be happier. They just don't have the tools, and they don't know where to find them. So my mission has been to be the supplier of the tools in the toolbox over the last few decades.
Jen Groover, the Home Depot of personal development.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I'll definitely use that, and I'll credit you, Jack.
All right, thank you. It's all yours. So let's delve into the book. How do you get more out of life? Let's talk about what you've put in there.
Yeah, so the More Method is a culmination of my 20 plus years of teaching human potential, studying multiple disciplines: psychology, physiology, nutrition, quantum physics, metaphysics, neuroscience, Buddhism, and a few others. And I would pull best of practices from these different aspects and these different lessons. And I kept trying to create a formula. My brain needs to have a formula and a structure. And so for me, I wanted to create these formulas and routines that would help me improve my life. And as I would teach other people, I would understand that I would have to simplify how I would teach all of these big theories in a way that people could feel tangible. They could take tangibles away and apply to their lives. So over the last 10 years or so, I've really tried to boil it down into this methodology to simplify, if I'm doing a keynote in 30, 40 minutes, how to teach somebody to improve their lives in a way that they can change their life just tomorrow, quickly. So the MORE method really became that methodology, that framework, and is an acronym. MORE is an acronym. In order to get more of everything you desire in life, you first must become mindful of all that you do. And so I approach mindfulness very differently than my colleagues, trying to make it tangible. Again, it's this elusive thing for many. So how do I make it simple and tangible? So I created an auditing system for people to really go through different parts of their lives and figure out how to evaluate where they are and course correct on the things that aren't working for them, and make it a regular practice. We always are a work in progress. So using this mindfulness as a constant gauge of, am I doing this that's beneficial for me, or is it hurting me and keeping me back from where I want to go? The O is optimization of body and brain. So in order to get more of everything we desire in life, we have to look at our physiological state as well. And a lot of people miss this because the diet industry has talked about it just in the state of, don't eat that because you'll gain weight, or don't eat that because it can cause cancer. But people haven't really looked at it as a place of performance and emotional state. And so if we actually look at, if I eat that, I'm going to have to work harder, not smarter. If I eat that, it's going to put me in a bad mood and not make me as effective or compassionate to others. Then we have a greater sense of choice and control in that decision is more educated. So that's the O in the MORE method. And the R stands for being more responsive versus reactive. So in order to get more of everything we desire in life, we must learn how to respond to life instead of react to life. And we're seeing a lot of that today. And that's all about the emotional intelligence, how to really become more emotionally intelligent and take control of our mind and our perspective. And even when things are going in a direction we don't like, or things in the past have happened we don't like, we are still in control of how we view that. And once we understand that principle and learn how to take control of our mindset that way and take control of our perspective, we then control how we feel and where we can go in the future. And lastly, the E is excelling in all aspects of life. So in order to get more of everything you desire in life, if we approach success in a holistic way and not just success for achievement's sake, we will become more fulfilled and happier in that pursuit of success. And instead of having it as a finish line, it's this journey that we're feeling fulfilled throughout. And I think that's where a lot of people have invested in personal development and seen gains professionally, but they were forgetting about their health of their relationships. They were forgetting about the health of their own well-being or their own personal evolution, their own personal development as an ongoing thing, not just something to jumpstart their success. And so the E really shows people that there's 4 core quadrants of our lives: our health and well-being, our health of our relationships, our personal well-being, and our professional achievement. And if we nurture all of those consistently as an ongoing basis, we will have more fulfillment in our lives. And that's what I believe really is the ultimate goal for people, not just success for the sake of success, but success for the sake of happiness.
Absolutely. I think happiness is what really people want, but they don't really know that all the time. Everything they do, they think it's going to make them more happy. If I have that pool table, then I'll be happy. If I have that job, I'll be happy. It doesn't work quite like that. So, you've worked with lots and lots of people. You've trained people now to work with people, et cetera. Why do you think people, knowing that there's so much information out there, and you and others and people you've studied with are sharing all this, why do you think people aren't pursuing that? Why aren't they getting more in their life?
Well, I think first of all, they lack clarity as to what they want in their lives. And that's why the first question in my book is, what do you want more of? Mm-hmm. It's getting people to really get clear as to what they want, and not just about goals. Everyone knows how to do goal setting. And this is where I think a lot of the problems lie in goal setting. Often our ego really starts to take over, and we put these goals that we think sound good. We put these goals that we think our parents want us to have, or our employers want us to have. And the reality is not what we really want. And so when you ask, what do you want more of, you actually get to see people's value systems more clearly and more transparently. And people then have to start to evaluate and compare what they want more of does it align with my goals? And if it doesn't, what do I need to change? Because if what you want more of is time with your family and financial freedom, and your goals are, I want to make $10 million, but a job that you have right now would make you be working, all week long and never at home with your family, you're going to have to think of a new business model and strategy to actually achieve those things. So I think people lack clarity. I also believe people have set goals before and have not achieved those goals. So they start to diminish who they are. They start to diminish their dreams and goals and vision. And so they minimize their potential in doing that. So the MORE method teaches people to recognize that first, that's what they're doing, and then recognize that their potential is expansive, and maybe they didn't succeed because they didn't go about it the right way. The MORE method really focuses on a key principle that I believe has been missed a lot in the industry with people who have invested in personal development. The belief systems are the core of everything. And there's not been enough conversation and really dissecting the belief system. So habits have been very much focused on, right? Belief system is the part that's lacking in the habits. If you don't evaluate your belief system, you will perpetually have habits that are not in alignment to what your goals are. So I focus a lot on the belief system. I think that's part of the missing key of why people have intentionally set these goals or invested in themselves, but still haven't done more or gotten more. And lastly, and that ties into that second part, is I believe that people haven't evaluated their belief systems enough and have this understanding that I really break down in the book, but our belief systems are attached to our outcomes. So any outcome we have in our life right now that we don't like, there is 1,000% a belief or beliefs attached to that outcome that must be evaluated, flipped, and creating new neural pathways in our brain. So when you take the old belief and you flip it to the new belief, I teach people in the MORE method how to reprogram their brain to create this new belief system so it eventually just becomes who they are in their subconscious mind and not having to consciously think about it. So my approach in bringing these disciplines together was to create a formula to get more. But the belief system part, I believe, has been the missing link that hasn't been discussed enough, that I hope I broke down enough in a simplified way that everybody can understand.
No, I agree with you totally. I teach that as well, that our beliefs, and I think that the issue is that most of the beliefs that are running us are unconscious. We're not aware we have them. And I think in your book, you talk about how to become aware of these beliefs. Could you just talk about that for a minute?
Sure, I can. I would love to. There's a few ways I give my students or any of my people that I train how to identify this. One is what I just said. If you identify the outcomes you have in your life right now, write them down. What are you not happy about? What would you like to improve upon? And then once they write them down, I'll take one at a time. And I do this in the book too as an exercise for people. So say it's they have a business and they keep only making $150,000 a year and they really want to be making $500,000 a year, but they can never get past that threshold. So then I say to them, well, what are your beliefs around money? What are your beliefs around success? And then I take it even further. What are your beliefs around money from your parents, from your grandparents, from your culture, from your community? And I teach them the true process of really peeling back it's almost like if you could crack your head open and peek inside and see your brain at work and how to do that. And so most of our beliefs are programmed before we're even 7. You know this, I know. And they're programmed by the programmer. So we have to evaluate not just what we think we're believing, but who are our programmers, our parents, our grandparents, our school, our television, our community, our religion. And so I really try to break each step down in the book so that people can understand and do this for themselves and feel empowered to make it an ongoing process of their lives. Another big thing about beliefs is that we need to understand is that they're ever changing. So I can change a belief now that propels me forward. But that belief might not help me in 5 years, because as I keep evolving, as the world keeps changing, our beliefs keep changing too. And so it's this, I say it's like a hot air balloon. When you take off in a hot air balloon, you have to get rid of some sandbags to start to level up. And so thank you.
That's a good metaphor. I like that. Yeah.
Thank you. So, and it gives people a true vision. So those sandbags are beliefs and behaviors that are holding you back. And then you start to hover with this new perspective, and you're like, wow, I didn't realize there's so many trees in Central Park. This is amazing. And eventually you get complacent, you get stuck, you plateau, and you have to go back at it and do the same thing again. Evaluate your beliefs and behaviors, get rid of the sandbags that are holding you back so you can keep going up and up. And that's the process of evaluating beliefs.
That's beautiful. Again, I love that metaphor. It really is what it's about. It is so true. So share with us some stories of people you've worked with and maybe some of the results you've seen happen using the MORE method with people.
Yeah, so I've witnessed some incredible transformations in many people at any stage of life. And that's the key part of this too. The MORE method, the way I created this formula and the way I teach it, is meant to teach anyone at any stage of life to get from where they are to where they want to go. So whether it's, a teenager just getting done high school and going into college, or someone finishing college, to the top level executives at Fortune 500 companies, it works for those people. What I love is I believe everyone can change. I know that's a debate that many people want to debate. People say, no, the zebra always has its stripes, but I believe everyone has the ability to change. I believe everyone can transform when they have the right tools and they have the desire to do so. And so some of the best examples that I've had were people who have been self-sabotaging throughout their lives, and they didn't even know that they were constantly having limited beliefs around money, around relationships, around health, and blaming the world for all their limitations. And when they learn the MORE method, they start to take self-responsibility. They start to change their beliefs around money and relationships and health, and then wind up having incredibly fulfilling relationships, incredible wealth, incredible fulfillment and passion in what they're doing. And I'm also on the board of this nonprofit called Back on My Feet, which is really cool. It's a nonprofit that helps homeless people literally get back on their feet. And we mentor the different homeless people that are part of the program, and people run with them every day. And running is the metaphor of moving forward. And so through this program, you can see the principles that are taught in the MORE method apply in just the support and the framework of how to get back on your feet, how to take self-responsibility, how to be compassionate and empathetic. And the success rate of this program for Back on My Feet is enormous, because they're taught these principles. And to me, if you can take somebody who's been through a horrific childhood with tons of trauma, that are at a place of despair and in homelessness, and get them thriving back into society again, and not only thriving, but becoming some of the best employees to the employers that we work with, it shows that transformation can work by giving the different tools that are needed, taking self-responsibility, learning mindfulness, learning how to treat your body properly, and being emotionally intelligent.
Wow. I love the back on your feet thing. That's really cool. I know that my stepdaughter, who had a lot of anxiety growing up, whenever she would run, it would just clear up for days, so that makes total sense to me. You work with people in a lot of variety of ways. You've got trainings, you've programs on that you can study, you've got books now. Talk a little bit about all the ways that people can work with you, interact with you in your work, and then how they can get in touch with you to do that.
Sure. So I do work with people in many different ways. I work with corporations all the time in doing keynotes to corporate training. So sometimes I'll go in and do a lunch and learn or speak at a conference, or sometimes I'll come in and just do a leadership training, a sales training, a onboarding training. Onboarding training is one of the most overlooked smartest investments that any company can make. And the More Method is a really good program for onboarding for companies because it gets everyone in a certain mindset and understanding of self-responsibility and self-actualization so that they can contribute faster into their community. I also do online trainings, B2B. We'll do virtual with the different companies and corporations, with associations, with entrepreneurial groups. And then I also do it with people person to person, some people one-on-one and executive coaching. I work with a lot of wellness programs right now for insurance companies to bring in this as emotional wellness programming into companies, which also has been incredibly overlooked for way too long. And now everyone's waking up to realize how needed it is, thankfully. And so those are some of the key ways that I work with people, whether it's companies, associations, professional athletes, to somebody who's just starting life and wants to figure out how to do it as effectively as possible. And people can get in touch with me through social media. I'm incredibly active on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And it's my name, Jen Gruber.
Very good. And your book's available on Amazon.com and all the normal places, Barnes & Noble and all those. Good. Well, what a delight. I could talk to you for hours. Unfortunately, we don't have time to do that, but I look forward to doing that offline with you. And I'd say to all of you that it's a great book. I really enjoyed reading it. And as much as I've been doing this work for 50 years, I learned some new things, including a great metaphor today about air balloons and sandbags. So I'm going to steal from you. So you can you can be the Home Depot of personal development, and I will take that from you and some of the other things. You have a real gift for clarifying things that are maybe a little esoteric. People, you bring it down to the level where they can apply it. And I think the application is what's so valuable. My mentor said, basically information without assimilation is a waste of time. And so the application of it is really good. So thank you once again for joining us. And I really encourage everyone, get the book, The More Method, and work with you. They're going to be very happy they did. So thank you again.
I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank you. Well, thank you for joining us this week, everybody. I look forward to seeing you on our next interview.